Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by A.G. Heinz Company. You know all about their history. Family owned for 3 generations, 100 years of proven quality and excellence. But A.G. Heinz Company should be a part of your future, meaning the future of your home improvement projects, your do-it-yourself projects. Start there. For the very best building materials in East Tennessee, all the big contractors in the area and construction companies turn to them. But all the do-it-yourselfers turn to them as well because their prices cannot be beat. A.G. Heinz Company. That's where you want to start for building materials and tools for your own home improvement project, for your own do-it-yourself project. Okay, we do have a D1 player, D1 assistant coach here with us, so I wanted to ask you, we may do this as the season goes on, I wanted to give you a chance to tell us what you noticed with your professional eyes yesterday, what stood out to you either in that game or just that you've noticed as this season has gone on. Mark Pankratz, I know you wanted to talk about some of the stuff they're doing with their post players.
Yeah, earlier in the year, I think we really got caught up in shooting the 3-ball. We were shooting a lot of perimeter jump shots, and not just this year's on the line, but 3-4 feet off the 3-point line. Right. The focus is back on the inside. I mean, you look at the 4 guys, Olivier, Adu, Toby, and Euros. They're shooting 71% the last 4 games from the inside. And that just doesn't happen, right? I mean, it goes back to the focus of getting the ball inside. One of the things that you'll see, these posts, they rim run. Barnes has them going to the front of that rim, putting your nose at the rim, and then based on wherever the ball gets passed to first, whichever wing, they go post up on that side. But now because they're so deep, and literally you'll watch, they are at the rim. It's not get to the free throw line. It's not get to the middle. It's get to the rim. So they're posting up much deeper, which is now allowing the guards to get the ball inside. They're also doing a lot more rub screens or curl screens where the guard will cut. If you remember when Pearl was there, we called it cutters. You'd have the wing go from the guard go from the wing and cut across the post to the other side. They're doing a lot of those rub screens to get the post player that's defending the interior rubbed off to now allow the big man to step in and get the ball closer to the rim. The other thing that makes this team hard, again, most teams run a lot of ball screens. We don't. We run a lot of motion. What happens in that motion, it brings your bigs away from the basket. A lot of bigs are comfortable getting away from the basket when they're in ball screen defense because it's practice all the time. These bigs that we're up against, they're not used to motion offense. We bring them out, we bring it in, bigs are moving, and now it's allowing our interior guys to get to the ball closer to the rim. And so the guards are now just looking more, which is another thing. You could have a big that's wide open, but if their guards aren't looking, and you're just seeing it. I mean, the evolution of Adu making 2 threes yesterday, his difference from Toby, who's a big guy, to Euros. I mean, we just got the versatility inside that if you look at Barnes' really good teams, Grant Williams, Kyle Alexander, they had an inside presence that we've not seen here really recently that this team has.
Well, I mean, John Fulkerson, it looked like he was going to be that kind of guy, and then he took a step back for whatever reason. It started with COVID. And the last couple of years, you just haven't had that inside-out game that Barnes likes so much. Now it's, I don't want to say it's an embarrassment of riches, but compared to the last couple of years, that is the term that comes to mind because you have not only one guy that you can do this with, but you have different guys who are varied in their talents and their skills to where you've got a little bit more to mix it up, it seems.
Well, you have legit versatility from your big men, the threat of the shot outside and their ability to hit it from Olivier and Jonas, and then the way they work on both ends of the floor to get rebounds. Because Toby's not playing if he's not getting rebounds, right? He's not going to be out there. And I'll bet 10 for 10 from the field, Rick Barnes is happy with that. Probably happier with 10 rebounds from Olivier come on.
Something else that Rick Barnes said the other day I thought was interesting, Mark. I think you heard him. He said that a lot of times the guards they don't have post players in high school to feed it to. And he said that's taken them a little bit longer this year to become better at that. They've done a really nice job of getting the ball to the post, although there were a couple of errant passes yesterday, not by guards, but there were some errant passes trying to go to the post. But he mentioned that was a factor in getting more production out of the post players.
One interesting thing about that, don't want to dive too deep into it, we've got to catch a break, but it does make you think of how many one-and-dones now come through. Well, if you're not used to doing that, if you're a guard coming into college, you're not used to having a big guy at the high school level, how long does it take you to develop into playing that way at the college level? If you're only in town for a year, okay, do you pick it up in March of your last year. Whereas if you get a guy like Zakai Ziegler, who you know is going to be around for 3-4 years, maybe you can mold a guy like that to continue to improve every year.
Oh, Barnes talked about it. He wants to continue to recruit guys that are going to be in your program 2, 3, 4 years, and then add a Julian Phillips once in a while,
or Kennedy Chandler who can drop in.
And that's what Kentucky. We'll talk about. That's Kentucky's biggest rub with Calipari. You got all these 5-star one and done type guys. They don't get to know their players, and they're here for a period of time, and then they're gone. And it's hard to build a program consistently that way.
Yeah. All right, Mark, hang around. We'll talk about that a little bit later. When we come back, we're going to talk some football. Tennessee has a new offensive coordinator. They have promoted Joey Halzle. We'll discuss whether or not that's an issue. Should anybody be concerned or not? Concern. And then also we'll talk about the tight end position. There's a campaign in town to get a local guy into that slot. We'll debate all this. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Away from home? Watch the Sports Source live at WATE.com.